strong last year. What do you expect from him in year 3?
Unbelievably sneaky, huge year for the ex-number-1 pick. Finished last year after the Munich game, final 8 games, 12 touchdowns, 3 picks, and okay, is this the guy that is going to be the future? They draft Ted McMillan out of the University of Arizona. I fully expect Bryce Young to remind everybody, hey, I am plenty capable of being a very high-end starter in the NFL.
The guy that the world was giving up on during last season. Now I agree with you. Expectations a lot higher. And then we talk about the man who was the storyline of the draft. What is your sense right now of Shedeur Sanders in Cleveland?
Is the chatter real? And that's my question. And can you make Cleveland and Andrew Berry, the GM, and Kevin Stefanski, the head coach, say, why not? You've heard a lot of reports from a lot of different people, like, man, Shedeur looks really good in this OTA, or really good at that OTA, or he's commanding the offense. And now you're going into minicamp. Can Shedeur continue that positive chatter, if it's real, and get that organization to sit back and say, you know what, why not? Why not see what he has this year? Because either you figure out who your starter is moving forward, or you weaponize those 2 first-round picks in Cleveland for the 26th draft.
Well, so look, I agree with you. You have to figure out if you don't have your quarterback of the future on the roster this season, which means that even if Joe Flacco starts the year, unless they stun the world and are winning a lot of games, you've got to make sure you know what you have in Dylan Gabriel, who you drafted, and Shedeur Sanders, and maybe to some degree Kenny Pickett. That has to be the plan in Cleveland, right?
The league spoke when he wasn't taken in the first round, but I don't think anybody expected him to go in the 5th round. That felt very personal to Shedeur. That said, I'm told that he came into minicamps, and I spoke to people this weekend, and was as good a young 3rd-day pick you could imagine in how he handled himself. Now, you're asking him to find a way to not only get on this roster, which he will, but to then be able to get reps in training camp and then win the job. That's asking a lot. However, you're asking the quarterback room that doesn't have that. There is no Jared Goff or Matthew Stafford. It is wide open if you're thinking the best man can win. He might have the most skills. It's just really hard as a day 3 pick to do that in June. He's going to have to do it in August.
You know, and listen, I'm wrong so often that I'm allowed to point out when I was right. The week after the draft, I said, just watch. The stories coming out of there are going to be, oh, Browns pleasantly surprised with what they see from Shedeur. They have every reason in the world to want this to work. He has a 5 next to his name as a 5th-round pick, but he was at worst a 2nd-round talent. There's every reason in the world where they could come out of this looking like the same geniuses that San Francisco looks like for taking Brock Purdy where they did. There's nothing but upside for Cleveland in this.
Absolutely. And listen, if I'm the Cleveland Browns, I know what Joe Flacco is.
Right.
I pretty much know what Kenny Pickett is. He's been on like 3 teams in 3 years. I need to know what these other guys are. But he was drafted behind Dylan Gabriel for a reason by the organization. So listen, he's got to be methodical in trying to get up, trying to get up there and earn some playing time with the Cleveland Browns.
I think June does matter. I know it's August, he has to go do it, but again, the chatter, at least a lot of the reports are that it's this. So can he do it in a mini camp when probably going to get more veterans in the situation, probably have more opportunities to maybe run the number 2 offense versus the number 1 defense? So all you're trying to do is get yourself into that setting where you force the conversation to be had around a table like this, being like, hey, how do we want to change the way we were going to go about this in August? Do we want to give him more reps in a preseason game 1 with our starters?
I've been waiting for several weeks now to get you back here so I can ask you this question. There are some quarterbacks who they have these talents that just jump off the page, right? If he's got a cannon for an arm or if he can run like Lamar Jackson or whatever, I can see where that would be easy to identify in any setting. This. Shedeur Sanders' superpowers are the opposite of that, right? They're all the things that actually make quarterbacks good. They're processing and reading the defense and all that. I'm asking you, my quarterback, does that stuff become obvious in scenarios?
Fast.
They'll see that fast?
Fast.
Then he's going to look great quickly.
And let me say this. If this offense is going under Kevin Stefanski, at least rumors to what it was a couple years ago, he's perfect for it. Because he's perfect for the under center, play action, control the line of scrimmage, see the defense, get from 1 to 2 to 3 quickly, or 1 to 2 to 3, he's got to do it more quickly. But he's custom made for that. But the way that he thinks and the way that he can see something on the board, take it to a walkthrough, and then bring it to a practice, that's
how you win.
I also think the things that affected his draft stock, which might have been the fact he's never played for a head coach other than his father, the fact that he didn't have an agent, the fact that he didn't do any of the pre-draft workouts or attend the combine in a way where he's going to compete, none of that matters now. That's all. He got burned for all that, and he got stung, and he ate that for at least a weekend, where he's getting prank called, and he's the story, and everyone's either making him a villain or a victim. It's all done now. You are an NFL player. It's all upside. None of that stuff matters.
Finish it up, D-Wood.
No, that's the thing. That's the thing for me. The stuff you talk, we've been talking about all the draft and pre-draft, but the superpowers that he has from the neck up, to me, that will help him get on the field faster than anything else.
He has to force that organization to play him because he's so impressive. And it will start this week, and then it will start for them to say, let's give him reps versus our #1 defense in training camp. Let's see how he does.
I totally understand why you say that, because he's a 5th-round pick. But the circumstances in his case are so unique, I actually think they should want it to.
Oh, I've been very adamant. If I was in Cleveland, Dylan Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders would be my starting quarterback.
One or the other.
Day one.
Yeah,
Day one.
Maybe day one, and if not, then pretty soon.
Yes.
Let Flacco, get beat up a little bit early by that schedule. No disrespect, Joe. And then we'll see what winds up happening. Thunder, he's over there, but D-Wood, I'm starting with you. Jayden Daniels just had the greatest rookie season any quarterback ever had. Will he have a sophomore slump or jump?
It's crazy, with the year he had. I want to go jump, man. I just think, the second year in the same system under Cliff Kingsbury.
Give him the MVP then.
Yeah, he's going to be in play. I can tell you that. With added protection along the offensive line, yeah, he's going to have a jump.
He could have been in that conversation last year. Peter, Drake May in New England, sophomore slump or jump?
Can we do sophomore giant leap? I think he's going to be so much better this year. He was so good last year. He's the Pro Bowl quarterback with nothing around him, and now you get Josh McDaniels calling the plays, one of the best quarterback gurus there is in the game, and Mike Vrabel, a real professional coach, to help on the defensive side as well.
And then, Danny, let's go back to the #1 pick of a year ago. Caleb Williams, slump or jump?
Jump. He has to. If he doesn't jump, there will be widespread panic in all of Chicago. He gets the #1 offensive line in the NFL over the last decade at coordinator-wise in Ben Johnson. It's a much improved offensive line. They've got plethora